basically, so I could just rephrase again. Basically, sometimes we all have moral standards that we hold ourselves to,
Hmm.
but that is always going to come in conflict with other moral standards,
Yeah, for sure.
right? So like, so sometimes you have to do something that would be in a perfect society immoral,
For sure.
because not doing it would actually be worse because you're causing an actual greater harm,
And
or you're not optimizing the well-being as much as you could.
yeah, and like I said, like I'm aware of that, and I do think that's a valid kind of argument and perspective to bring. And again, so like, all right, even if I concede that point and go, well, there's other things happening to kids, and this is bad. Where I shifted even in that was they started yelling at some of those kids. You know what I mean? Like directing their stuff to them. It's one thing to witness, your parents being yelled at or screamed at or whatever. It's another thing when you have these protesters addressing the children themselves. Like that to me, again, is just kind of a line too far. And again, is it violating a First Amendment right? Probably not. But is it the most effective way? And is that really how you want to portray yourself in the public eye as people are looking at it? I don't think it's good. So that's kind of my
But
general thoughts on it.
okay, so here's something that I'm not 100% confident on this connection here. So take this with a grain of salt. But Nakima, I think that's how you say her name, Levy or Levi Armstrong. All right, so when you think about the federal government unleashing barbaric ICE agents upon our community and all the harm that they have caused, to have someone serving as a pastor who oversees these ICE agents is almost unfathomable to me, said Armstrong, who added she is an ordained reverend. And then quoting again, if people are more concerned about someone coming to a church on a Sunday and disrupting business as usual than they are about the atrocities that we are experiencing in our community, then they need to check their theology, and it says the need to check their hearts, but I think it's supposed to be they need to check their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that quote interesting.
Yeah.
I think though I understand what you're saying of like, these people were just doing Sunday service or whatever. It kind of was bummed they want to be interrupted.
Yep.
How effective is it? And what's funny about this is I think is going to be a rare instance where you actually might agree with Sam Harris and I might actually disagree with him, because he did a little 2-minute video on this, and I only watched it once, so I might be getting some of this wrong. But from what I understand, he was basically saying um, it's just not effective. Like you shouldn't do it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to change anybody's mind. Yada yada yada. And I actually think in the past I would have 100% agreed with that. But I think, and I literally just mean within like the last week, I think I've changed my mind or given more thought to this a little bit, because I don't know how else you're going to do it, in the sense that like, what
Yep.
opportunity are these protesters going to have to go in and talk to these people and get them to understand how atrocious this is?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying you can't like try to go in and maybe have a one-on-one conversation. Should they have tried that first? Maybe. But what if they say no? What if they're like, no, I don't want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Then you're kind of forced into a situation where it's like, well, actually, morally, the best thing to do in this situation might actually be to kind of to psychologically shock them. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to traumatize anybody, but shock them and be like, wow, that was really annoying. Give them a day they'll never forget.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, days that you never forget them. And so
Yeah.
even if you don't like them, it's still going to be in your head what they said.
Yeah.
Now, in some instances, that's going to make you reinforce your perspective even more.
Mm-hmm.
But in other instances, I think there may be some cases where, like, whether it's in a week, in a month, in a couple years, you can harken back to that moment of like, wow, I never thought of it that way before. I can't believe somebody is this passionate about this. Maybe I actually am wrong about something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where, like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm not convinced fully that it won't work. And so what I mean by that is like, there maybe could have been a better way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of that. I'm kind of maybe should they have tried it? Yeah, maybe. But again, I have empathy for what they're saying and what they're doing.